All right, let's get right into it. We're going to break down some really powerful ideas from Alejandro Peterson about a topic that, a lot of guys wrestle with but don't totally get. We're going straight to the heart of the matter here. So, does this sound familiar at all? You're putting in the work, you're trying to do everything right, be the good guy, but that spark, that connection you're looking for, it just never really ignites. I mean, it is such a frustrating place to be. And trust me, you are not the only one feeling that way. And this whole thing usually turns into this predictable, kind of painful cycle, right? You see women you're into choosing guys who seem to be putting in like half the effort. You go on dates that feel amazing, and then poof, they go cold without any real explanation. And you're just left there thinking, it can't be about my job or how tall I am. The source material argues there's something much deeper, a fundamental piece of the puzzle that's missing. So, if it's not the obvious stuff, what in the world is it? Well, according to the source material, the central idea is this. The problem isn't some flaw in you, it's a flaw in your programming. Think about it. From the time we're kids, a lot of guys are taught to be polite, to give compliments, to always be available. Basically, you were trained to be agreeable, to be a pleaser. And look, those are great qualities for being a solid human being, for sure. But the argument here is that they have almost nothing to do with creating that raw, genuine attraction. And this chart just lays out the disconnect perfectly. On one side, you have all these actions aimed at pleasing, the constant compliments, always being there, and they all come from a place of needing her approval. But on the other side, the actions that truly attract come from a totally different place, a place of internal security. It's not about the things you do, it's about the state you're in. This quote from Alejandro Peterson just hits the nail on the head. You can do all the right things to make her like you, to see you as a great, dependable guy, maybe even a friend, but that's a completely different emotional channel than desire. It just doesn't flip that switch. And here's the trap. When you feel her pulling away, what's the natural instinct? It's to double down on those pleasing behaviors, send more texts, give more attention, try harder. But what you're really doing is trying to fix the problem with the exact tool that's causing it. It just pushes her away even more and digs you deeper into that cycle of rejection. So, how do you actually break out of this loop? Well, the source material lays out a path forward, and it all starts by looking at the author's own journey from that feeling of frustration to a place of genuine choice. So his journey began in a place of, deep frustration. He even calls himself a professional simp back then. And what he means by that is just this pattern of constantly seeking approval, always being the one trying so hard, but never ever being the one who gets chosen. So this drove him to dive deep into neuroscience, psychology, but really the most important journey was into his own mind. The real breakthrough wasn't about learning clever lines. It was about digging up the root causes of his own need for approval. And the transformation was huge. He flipped the script from trying to be chosen to being a man who chooses. And let's be really clear about this because it's so important. This is not about faking it or posturing or pretending to be some alpha character you're not. The real lasting change that creates that natural attraction, it's an inside job. It's a fundamental shift in how you think and how you feel. Okay, so what does this internal shift actually look like in practice? The source material boils it down to two fundamental pillars. The very first pillar is all about letting go of attachment, of neediness. It's the ability to just talk with a woman, enjoy the moment, be completely present, without being desperately hung up on where it's all going to lead. Your self-worth isn't on the line, waiting for her approval. And what's wild is the effect this has. According to the source, the moment you genuinely let go of needing a specific outcome, the entire dynamic can flip. That relaxed, self-contained vibe you're putting out, it becomes magnetic all on its own. All right, the second pillar is something called emotional rootedness. The best way to think about it is like having an inner anchor. It's that ability to stay centered, calm, and stable, even when you're interacting with a woman you find incredibly attractive. You're not easily rattled or thrown off your game. See, that internal stability, that's the source of real charisma. It's not about what you say, it's the calm, confident energy you give off. And the best part is, it's totally authentic. It's something you can't fake with cheesy lines or little tricks. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, right? But does this stuff actually work in the real world? The source gives a couple of examples of this whole system in action. So check this out. There are two cases mentioned here.
One friend went from literally one date in 7 months to having a successful date the very same day he shifted his mindset. And another guy used these same ideas to completely reignite the desire and respect in his long-term relationship. So it's not just for one situation. These principles seem to apply across the board.
So after going through this whole journey and seeing these results, the author basically packaged all this knowledge into a practical system, and that became a workshop designed to help other guys make the same kind of transformation. And the whole goal is to give you a roadmap. It's about learning how to spot and get rid of those self-sabotaging habits, how to totally reprogram that approval-seeking part of your brain, and then using real practical tools like embodiment and meditation to make that internal shift, well, real and permanent. So when you boil it all down, this whole analysis leaves us with a really powerful idea that just flips the entire script. The focus completely shifts away from learning tricks and techniques to use on someone else, and it puts the focus right back on your own internal growth. It suggests that the real secret to attracting the right person isn't about figuring out what to do. It's about deciding who you want to be.